For sure. Thanks for everybody who's joined us at this point. Again, I know it's late in the United States, depending on where you are, but very happy to bring you these games and really hyped for this return of TaeJa, which starts now.
It does indeed. We are into the first game. It's going to be a best of 5 on the balance test mod. The winner of this will go on to face Keen. And here he is, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map. It is Liquid TaeJa.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, the Red Zerg player from Storm Gaming, it is True.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to watch. I mean, True, he's just the tyrant of WCS. Not so much maybe in the past year, but he's knocked out so many foreigners and is at a very high level. So it's always interesting to see someone who does well over in the WCS circuit going up against someone like TaeJa, who recently returned to pro gaming.
Yeah, who is a bit of a mystery. I mean, one of the first things posted in chat was, is TaeJa, how's his skill after being away from the professional scene for so long? And that's what we're here to figure out right now. If we take a look at the player APM, he's sitting at around 500, 600, so his APM seems okay. His fingers don't seem to have slowed down much, if at all.
No, in fact, they might have even sped up a lot of time off, because I know TaeJa had wrist problems and things like that. Always having true. That heal up is gonna might have helped his wrists out a lot, and he might be have more moderation when he plays in this day and age. So we'll see. But no, we cast him in an Afreeca World a while back, and he did pretty decent versus sort of. It was a close series, but he did fall 3-2, I believe. So that was I mean, he showed some awesome games. Like, he still knows how to make bio and attack with it, that's for sure. But I'm really... And then I also did a best of 9 versus Parting, which he was looking pretty good. The one thing is that he just has to sort of get up to date on the builds a little bit, and I imagine he's had a lot more time to return, that he's just going to be getting more and more refined, like a lot of the Terrans who've stuck around for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, as you said there, he still knows how to use bio, and that's one thing that hasn't really changed all that much in the last couple of years, is you go away from the game in Heart of the Swarm, and you come back, and hey, bio's still a thing.
For sure. There would be riots in the streets if Blizzard tried to change bio. I think those units can't be touched too much in this day and age on the balance test mod. It's like, just... Yeah, but here comes in the Reaper.
You know what's interesting? I was looking at this the other day. Zealots, Zerglings, and Marines have been changed 0% since they were released in Wings of Liberty.
I guess their actual base stats have I mean, the Zealots, they had their charge tweaks, so they're slightly quicker with charge, but
just their base stats. Yep,
that's actually really interesting to know. Because I mean, if you're gonna change something, that would be a big butterfly effect, changing something like that. So Blizzard just bouncing around that. Oh no, okay, you guys were wondering how TaeJa's doing? He's pulling mules off the mineral line before they expire and waste minerals.
He's gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm not worried about him at this point. If you have that much spare micro available in the early stages of the game, yeah, I think you'll be all right in the mid into the late game. Some lings do just dive in here.
Yeah, True committed on in there. True is the ling guy. And I mean, we were casting earlier today. We're seeing Denver versus Clem, in which Denver continuously went for those early spawning pools. And he kept his lings back. He just sent them to attack rocks, whereas True just sent some of them in there without speed. And they died and didn't get too much done. Maybe in another game he would have killed off an SCV or maybe caught the mule, but didn't get anything there.
Nope. Reminds me of Risky versus Razor Blader too. As these Hellions do dive right in.
Diving on in with the Hellions, just saying, nope, you haven't made any more lings, and he's just going to start massacring True. Oh, guys, this could be game over.
YOLO!
Oh my God, TaeJa!
The drone barbecue is real!
Oh God, I don't even know what to say. 15 drones.
It's 33 to 21 workers, we can say that.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Dear Lord. TaeJa, he's just... Like, the queens were there for True, but he just goes on by. And now True loses his Overlord as well, just insult to injury there. True's got a few number of lings. He's a guy who goes for a lot of run bys, but a Banshee coming on in, forcing him to cut even more workers. There's no Spore Crawler at the third base. He built one at the front, but gonna lose at least one drone there, and he can't afford to lose any more. Gonna lose another one. Oh,
No,
actually saves
saved
it.
it.
Good save there,
Banshee.
but he's got a long way to go if he's gonna come back after what those Hellions did to him.
Look at how hot this Banshee is. Holy crap.
Oh man.
It's like Tron flavored.
It is. That's some of the new Terran skins. What are they? They're the Emojin, I think?
Yeah, Umojin. The ghosts especially look like they're playing Tron.
It's actually awesome to see. But,
Yeah.
I mean...
Hellions controlling the map right now. Zerglings just really can't do much of anything while these guys are out on the field. 16 more Lings on the way from True, and as you said, he is the Ling boy. I've been True for years at this point, and he loves using Lings. Early game, mid game, late game. There will be Lings in your face at all times.
Oh...
Hey,
Don't
drones.
even need to
How's
use
it?
words. TaeJa,
How's it?
some more Hellions dive. 23 drones already. He added another 8 there. Oh, man.
It just makes sad sounds.
Yeah, it's just...
Sad.
Oh. What are we going to say? Like...
We're
I
gonna
mean...
say we got nothing?
If this was a ladder game, I think True would have GG'd at the start of that other game.
Probably.
But, oh man, he actually gets in here with his Lings. True is the Ling guy. And so he gets on top of all of these, but the auto turrets are going to help clean these out. And so that gets cleaned up. TaeJa floating over his third base. True committed on it in there, traded off with some of those Marines there, but ultimately not getting anything of significance.
That Raven has 10 kills, LaughNgamez.
Oh my god.
10. Just auto turret, straight up.
Those auto turrets, they did the work without that. Like, if the Raven was out of position, could have been pretty good for True, but no, TaeJa just making the choice to use that. Nick got the job done.
Throwing down those mules at the third base location.
Indeed. Now TaeJa, I know, he knows how much damage he got done at the start of the game, but look at this, True. Definitely the Ling guy moving across the map with all of these Zerglings. We might not see anything to do with the balance test mod in this series.
Make a battle cruiser for the love of
these Lings, they're going to be running right on in. The wall for TaeJa is down, however, it's the far one. Is he going to raise in time? He does not.
Oh no!
Lings getting on in is actually massive for True. They're going to get on into the natural, and they're going to be able to start chasing down these SCVs. They can try and get into the main base, but those depots are raised, so just going to have to engage these units. Maybe get a tank. Meanwhile, TaeJa,
look at this!
He didn't push in with enough units, but this is actually some very good damage for True.
Wow, the Banshee's trying to kill these Lings
on these SCVs.
And a couple of them have been on there for a little bit here. More units popping out of the production facilities, and eventually the Lings will get cleaned
True,
up.
even more Lings heading on in towards the third base. TaeJa was just trying to drop right now, but this tank's going to get caught from the looks of it. True. Man, finding a way. I mean, he has lost a lot of Lings this game, make no mistake. But he got a bit of damage done with it. Going to get a depot and then get on out of there. How many Lings did he commit? 93 Zerglings.
In the first 8 minutes.
Oh my god, only True can come up with that many Zerglings so quick. He's got his 2-2 on the way, so it is going to be sort of an equal game. But I mean, I guess it is just the fact that he hasn't committed to Aspire or anything else, and that he is just making Lings. That's how he manages to afford these after taking such a beating in the early game. But if he can get another good run by out versus TaeJa, that'll be very good for him. TaeJa's trying to move out again with another drop or something like that, but True, he's got all of his Lings and he's looking for another run in.
Ling Ball having the time of its life right now.
Yeah,
I mean, how nice would it be to be a Zergling in True? Do fun stuff.
Pardon?
That's a lot of Banelings there.
Oh man, this is a lot of Banelings. You think these would be made defensively versus TaeJa? True says no, no, no. I'm gonna go kill all of TaeJa's depots and try and just get on top of this army, and there's a good chance he'll be able to. I mean, he may be waiting for centrifugal hooks, and there we go. That is done now. I mean, the Lings, they don't want to get too far ahead and reveal themselves, but here comes on in True. However, TaeJa has a lot of bio, and this is off creep, so we'll see how well TaeJa's going to split. If he's paying attention, however, some Banelings getting... TaeJa, wait a second, he lifted those units up. Banelings are rolling on into the mineral line, going to kill off a fair few, but this attack at the fourth base... I mean, True's got to deal with this.
Going to go down here. Lings keep rolling in, maybe not. Great positioning by the Marines, not allowing them to around it here. How many SCVs have died in this game?
God,
21.
the auto turret, once again, the Raven. 17 kills so far.
That Raven is a hero for the Emojins.
I mean, True's making this an interesting game, but He's down to 47 workers. Well, he is on 4 bases, so he's got a lot of larvae. But this army for TaeJa, now that there's going to be no other counterattacks planned, it's just going to be able to steamroll across the map.
Yeah, the Lings are hitting up the right side like they want to try to get something done. This group also trying to split out is just going to get massacred without taking a single Marine with them. 149 to 89 supply. TaeJa is up. He's landing that 4th base. The Zerglings might have something to say about that. But enough units left behind to deal with these Ling counterattacks. They're cute, but eventually TaeJa is going to figure out what's going on as he has to this point.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is looking pretty darn good for TaeJa so far. There's no doubt about it. And this is just based off that initial opening. Banshee even moving across the map. This is the same Banshee. It's got 15 kills, and it's going to find these Banelings. And TaeJa, he's got tanks here, so these Banelings are not going to get much done right now for True. But they've got no choice but to commit on in. Is he just going to roll them into the tanks? Oh my god, the tank fire. Lings are actually going to get 2 tanks, which I guess is alright.
Yeah, friendly fire. Little Ling attacks there, too, making the difference.
But the supply here, TaeJa coming on in, cleaning up creep in the bottom left. And coming in with all this bio. Oh, gotta respect this. Lifts up. Loses a few Marines. But to this drop to the 3rd base, getting a lot of damage done. True may actually lose this hatchery, which really may be the beginning of the end. Lings are trying to get on top of this, but these Marines, they just right-click on it. They are very steadfast, and now True, he's trying to get on in here, but these Marines see it.
Yeah, it's hard to miss that, honestly. I just Baneling bust that left side, to be honest. It's just supply depots, man. 5 Banelings will take that sucker down. I guess he wanted to save every Baneling that he could. Almost losing a medevac to that Spore Crawler, but that base is toast. 179 to 110 supply. Banelings are going to go for the bust, but I guess who sees it coming? TaeJa!
I mean, the depots are definitely done for. These Banelings going to try and get connections, but good micro back for TaeJa. Fantastic splits there, and all the Lings are just going to be absorbed by that bio. Already queues up rebuilding that supply depot wall as well. And
tank
True.
Fire hurting some of those SCVs.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. True taps out. He knows that it's over.
Indeed. He tried to get some damage done. Did kill a good number of SCVs there. I want to say close to 20, 30 or so, but not enough in the long run to really do that much damage to TaeJa, especially after losing a ton of drones and a couple hatcheries from the aggression there. +3 attack was almost done, +3 armor for TaeJa. And at that point, if you just have Lings and Banelings, it is not going to go well for you at all.
Okay, we'll get on into the next game.
On to the next game. Come on, True. Don't let TaeJa, who is just coming back to StarCraft 2, beat you.
Yeah, now, I mean, that was an interesting game. Definitely. But just from the way that opened up, there's no way to sugarcoat it. TaeJa just murdered True there, like...
Yes, that was not necessarily all that close.
True was just sitting in his grave waiting to be buried at that point. Bigger map this time around, though. A lot of angles for Lings, dare I say.
Definitely true. That is a problem with Parasite. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, well, all right. Thanks to everyone for tuning on in. I hope you guys are enjoying this coverage of this match. But looks like everyone is ready, so we're going to be getting on into the next game.
Excellent. Yeah, I see you guys in chat. I see what you're saying. We got a suite out of Mizumo. We have a lot of Korean talk from players like Works1234 and KSI 3049. Druid 4 is here, though. I recognize Druid 4. Hoorah!
Okay, but here we are. And this guy recently returned to StarCraft 2, spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's Liquid TaeJa.
Against this guy spawning in the top left-hand corner. Been around for a while from Psystorm Gaming. It is True.
I mean, with all these returning pros, I was talking about it, and it was the question of, are any of them ever going to reach that high level again? Are any of them ever going to win tournaments again? And if you were to ask me if anyone could do it, I'd say TaeJa. Because he's just this monster, just with how he plays, with how he practices and everything. And even when he was close to retirement, he made it to like the round of 4 in the GSL. And he's just like casually getting to the round of 4, herpity derpity. And then now he's back. And he's looking pretty darn good. And beating True would be a very good step, saying, yeah, I can do it. As he's taking games, taking series off a lot of these mid-game players, as he has played in a few tournaments now, but I mean, we'll see how close is he to really reaching that pinnacle. And I mean, that last game looking pretty good.
Yeah, so far so good from our guy TaeJa. This is what you came to see, all 303 viewers that are on the stream right now. Silverlord pushing on out. TaeJa's barracks is just about complete here, working on that SCV production. Nothing too insane at this stage of the game. Really does look like it's going to be a 1 Rax expand, and nobody really trying to stop the standard stuff from the other players, although it is an SCV scout. Hold on. SCV scout heading on out. Okay, so there's the expansion. I thought maybe that'd be a proxy based on that path, but nope, the expansion coming up back home. TaeJa gonna play this thing as normal as you can do.
Yeah, all this SCV is moving out to do is to basically tell TaeJa whether it's safe to move out with his Reaper or not. And that's pretty much all that the SCV does.
So far, so good. Yeah. 6 Lings on the way here from True. A little bit more than you usually see in this matchup, but again, True is our Ling guy. He did Lings out in game number 1. Maybe not all that surprising. The question is, can the SCV get home? The Lings look like they need to defend as there's a Reaper on the way, and the Queens are not quite present yet. We've seen this dance 100 million times as the Reaper comes running on in and tries to avoid getting surrounded on the creep.
Oh,
got
TaeJa
him.
Manages to get out of there, or just gets out of there. Good dukes. But
What?
Having us
I thought
worried
he
there.
had it. I thought that Reaper was dead, but that second juke was
he's got to be
sick.
careful because those Queens can push out. How many Terrans do you think out there have had their Reaper? It manages to survive low on HP, just sits outside the Zerg base, and then a Queen pops forward and kills it. But TaeJa keeping it alive there.
A little too smart for that. Thank you very much.
I'm not. The reason why I mentioned that is it may or may not have happened to me recently. But third base, True will eventually want to try and get that, but we're seeing pneumatized, or not pneumatized Carapace. It's, or is it? I'm bad with my Zerg upgrades. Pneumatized Carapace, right?
Yep.
Always
Overlord
get
speed.
adrenal glands and pneumatized Carapace and pathogen glands. So many glands and things like that. But all right, now, yeah. So True is going to have that. He's going to have that scouting out with that, which will be very helpful for him. He's getting his third base on the way.
And it's getting roasted by Hellions a little bit, but as is tradition, and Hellions are terrible at killing buildings, and this is really no concern in the long run. It is going to be a Cloak Banshee here from TaeJa, but guess who's scouting it? True! With the pneumatized Carapace Overlord, no longer slow, now zippy, and gets the crucial scouting information. Get out of there, Overlord. You can do it. He does manage to escape with his life. Still hitting that third base is TaeJa.
Yeah, forcing the Queens out. Eventually, they do have to come out and prevent any further damage on it.
They hate being off creep, though. They're going to try to get back home as fast as they can. Some Speedlings would do better shutting that down, but really not that many Speedlings in production here for True. Only 4 right now. He is working on, just additional Queens here, getting evolution chambers, and droning up a lot harder than he was in game number 1.
Well, he's got an inherent advantage compared to that first game. Those Hellions not getting in just yet. And I mean,
very true.
He's got 10 Lings back at home, but TaeJa hasn't shown that he's going to commit on in this. Overlord also sees where the Hellions are, so True doesn't have to be worried just yet about them diving on in or anything like that.
Banshee gets to work. Goodbye, drone at number 1 here at the base. Would like to get additional ones at all possible, but there is the Spore Crawler. A lot of juicy drones to choose from here, though. The Queen getting some early shots off. 1 drone goes down. Spore Crawler going to burrow in the third base, and it is the time to be over. End of time for the Banshee. It doesn't look all that different, actually, when it's cloaked versus when it's not cloaked.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's the outline of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty darn cool, that.
Good animation.
I'm not sure True thinks that it's cool, but...
Get out of here, Banshee. No one likes your style. +1 on the way for True for his Zerglings, as is tradition. And Alaire coming up here at about the 5-minute mark, too. So meanwhile, just bio stuff out of TaeJa. He's got +1/+1. He's got Stem researching. Stem's about 50% complete.
Oh, here comes in TaeJa, though. True. Oh, no. He's only got 6 Lings out on the map. They're going to try and buy time, but these Hellions are going to dive into the main base. He's got 2 Queens here, but drones are going to be in trouble. Hellions starting to roast away once more like they did in the last game. Drones are being pulled this time. It's later in the game, but we've seen 17 go down.
And we're down to 49 to 49 workers. True had a substantial lead, and now it is gone. to double Banshee here, picking off those drones.
TaeJa adding insult to injury there. This Queen also could get picked off by that Banshee. Transfuse, good.
Transfuse!
Last second there. And, oh yeah, there was the transfuse change on the Queens.
Yeah, so it does some up front and then the rest of it over time.
Yeah, it's like a 50-50 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the fact that those Hellions came in later, they weren't as quick as they were in, say, the first game. Because, true, he was knocked down to, like, 27 drones. He was knocked down to, like, 40-something drones this time. So it's a lot more of a recoverable position than it is in the last game.
Agreed.
And, true. Looks like he'll be playing the standard Ling Bane style, or I guess old school Ling Bane style, just getting his 2-2 on the way, getting his Spire into his 4th base. Gonna want to be spreading that creep as soon as he can, but I mean, with TaeJa and True, if True's playing like an old school Zerg, I imagine we'll see TaeJa playing like a pretty old school Terran, so get ready for some classic old Terran versus Zerg.
Very excited to see how this one's gonna go. Tank production, Marine production, moving out with those Medivacs. The Medivacs look incredible too. With this Emojin skin. It's like blue flames coming out of the back there. Electricity almost.
Yeah, wow, that's actually so sick. They also, I mean, the top of them looks a little bit goofy for me. Like just that bright orange hull.
Like the cockpit looks kind of weird.
Yeah, it looks like it's something out of like, I don't know.
Fisher-Price.
yeah, exactly. Like one of those deep sea divers or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that bright color doesn't really fit. But regardless, unloading on this left side, it is 132 to 109 supply. TaeJa is up big time. Yuta production has begun for True, making 2 of them at a time. +2/+2 coming in for those Lings too. And here comes the Marine attack, killing all of the tumors that True has worked so hard to plant.
Yeah, TaeJa getting pushed back. There is going to be these mutas on the way, which will help shut down the drops. But TaeJa denying the creep is already setting up sort of the... setting up the floor for him to come on in later with, say, more drops and things like that. True, he hasn't been focusing too much on spreading his creep. He's got 5 Queens, but they're pretty much all at all of his bases here. Not necessarily focused on spreading that creep, and as a result, it could be rough for True later on in this game when TaeJa does move out.
Definitely could be. These Lings in the middle of the map just trying to see when the army is on its way. They go up about on time, not enough to handle that group of Marines, though. And here come the Mutalisks. Muta plus Ling. Yeah, that's a signal to get on out for TaeJa. Doesn't even lift all of his men. And this is a pretty scary thing here. Ling's on the ground, Muta's in the sky. Are these Medivacs toast?
These are going to be this is a nice pickoff for TaeJa. However, those rest of the Marines, True, can't engage into that. Looks like he was thinking about it with the tank, and that was so much bio there. And I mean, army supply, it's fairly even right now. TaeJa, he's got his 2-2 on the way, but True's 2-2 is actually already done. So he's got a nice upgrade lead for now. And then he's just committing to so many Lings. He's at 73 with another 32 on the way. True is the Ling King. Gonna find this drop here as well.
Medivac trying to get out. That boost is gonna run out soon.
Rest in peace, if only he had the new upgrade.
Does not get saved. But the Marines do make sure nobody else has to die today.
All right.
168 to 173 supply. True has pulled ahead. He's ahead in worker supply. He is ahead overall right now. Our supply a little TaeJa right now. Cloak Banshee trying to kill all of the Zerglings.
He's got his work cut out for
environment. Yeah.
Now what? Interestingly enough for TaeJa, 2 Thors on the way, but this is on the balanced test mod.
So their splash damage for air attacks is less.
Yeah, their AODE has been reduced like 20%. I mean, they're still going to be very good versus mutas. There's no doubt about it. Whew. But their armor is also less, guys. These Thors, no armor going for them.
0 armor?
0 base armor. Or I think they have 1 base armor, but it's 1 less.
It's not great.
So Lings are actually going to be a lot better than them. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm against the change. I mean, anti-air, I'm fine with it, but oh well. But TaeJa, he does have these Thors to zone out the mutas, and he's got the got all the tanks, so that may be all that he needs to push in. However, pushing in versus True is tough because he is going to be looking for some counterattacks right now. Interestingly enough, though, TaeJa, he never took this 3rd base location at the back here, which is a very counterattackable location, as he took the one more to the right. And this sensor tower actually going to give him perfect vision here. He's going to see this, and it looks like he's actually just going to be committing on his True's going for a double counterattack right now. Siege tanks at this location are going to get some good shots off on that army. what does TaeJa have as far as reinforcements go? Not much. So, I mean, TaeJa's going to be committed hard to this attack, and he's not going to be getting off scot-free. Muta's at the 4th base. Zergling's at the 3rd. TaeJa's pushing on in versus True, but this is the situation which forces the Terran hand, and being forced to rush onto creep is never a good thing for Terran.
Nope, he's sending the Thors up first of all, trying to absorb any Baneling shots that are coming their way.
Yeah, these tanks gotta get set up before these Banelings roll on into them.
TaeJa's done. He's down to 20 workers at this point in time. Zerglings and Banelings running out of stuff to attack down here in TaeJa's side of the map. Is he going to deny +3? He's going to deny +3 from TaeJa.
The armor, but getting that is also important. And I mean, TaeJa, look, he's on 1 base. He's all in as you can ever be right now as a Terran player. True's just running drones, and he knows that he just needs to take the one good fight. SCVs are even on in here for TaeJa, maybe preparing for that base trade, but everything else is coming on in for True, and he may just be looking for a good old surround. I think TaeJa knocking down this watchtower would be a good idea if True gives him the time, but Mutas are coming on in as well. There's 3 Thors here, and they do have that +1 weapons.
That splash damage is good stuff. We're going to see that 360 surround.
They got to run on out of there. I mean, it's going to come down to this one fight. There's no mistake about that. True's trying to get out as much, but his production isn't that high as his bases are in a state of disarray. He's lost a lot of hatcheries. So, I mean, this fight, it is going to be everything. True going to lose another base. Although, cleaning up a few of the Marines. TaeJa just off 1 base with what money he has is making a few more Marines back at home. I mean, whether they'll get out here. And look at this. Even making turrets and repairing the Thors is actually so smart right now. He knows the situation he's in.
Yeah, the Banelings have been hanging back for a while now. They really don't want to get involved if they don't have to. True is playing this very patiently.
Yeah, now there is all these tanks for TaeJa, so he has to be careful pushing on into this because these tanks, they do pack a punch, and when it's just Banelings rolling in, but True's pulling the trigger with a small part of his army, but that wasn't everything. He took out a Thor there, but he lost a lot of Banelings right now, and TaeJa, he's up on army supply, he gets the hatchery, baits forward a lot more Banelings. True's waiting for a Viper, and he's got 40 Banelings, so I mean, if he had more than 1 Viper coming out, I'd say, yeah, he can make this happen, but just 1 Viper? I mean, that Viper's got a lot of heavy lifting to do.
Yeah, there are those 2 tanks that are clumped up, but there are still 4 others that are not going to be affected by that blinding cloud, reestablishing his natural base. TaeJa playing this pretty well for being in such a terrible situation.
Yeah, his 1 command center floating on over here. Meanwhile, he's dropping this base to the right that True is trying to establish. He's going to find all the drones. And I mean, TaeJa, he's got a good chunk of Marines back at home that he's managed to squeeze out, which will protect him from that Mutalist counterattack. And if he gets this hatchery, I think TaeJa, I mean, while this sort of situation can usually be rough for Terran, he just took it so slow, and True never found the time to pull the trigger. And as a result, he's going to be getting choked out right now. There's going to be this 1 Viper out, but it'll need to be an amazing engagement. The tanks are pretty clumped up for TaeJa, but there's a few that aren't, and all it takes is 1 or 2 good tank shots in order to ruin True's day with these Banelings.
Yep, that low ground tank position is so hard to dislodge for the Zerg player, especially if everybody's on this high ground up here. There's
TaeJa steps forward, tries to snap off the Viper, doesn't quite get it, but gets on out. True, he's got the Mutas. He catches one of the Thors there.
All right, that's fine. Slowly whittling it down, but
I mean,
boy, that left side base is still happening for True. It's just about complete. TaeJa does not know that it exists.
Yeah, TaeJa's just focused on killing the main base right now, and this army for True is actually caught in here. And so that's a very big deal, because if this main army dies, that's really it for True. Some Banelings roll, or some Marines run in, taking a bit of a bad engagement there as TaeJa. It's not like he has tons of reinforcement, but he's actually coming across the map with his Marines right now. There's not many Banelings here. And I mean, this is a decent number of Marines. There's a few Banelings,
the Banelings are
TaeJa,
present.
Does he focus those down? Eats one of the Banelings there. Has to get on out, but I mean, his tanks are now starting to inch forward on this location. He's got some more Marines coming on in order to support this. There's actually a Viper out here. Goes for a blinding cloud, True, but he's going to lose at least a few of his Mutas. The Banelings get focused down. TaeJa, these Marines are going to be able to chase these Mutas back, and True's likely going to lose his base. He's got some more Mutas out. He's got 10, but can they take on these Marines? It's not going to be pretty. Loses just one more Muta.
Pretty effective. That hive taking shots. Banelings is over. Marines able to absorb a Baneling shot is hugely important there. And the hive goes down. Now at this point, I mean, I guess TaeJa does know about the extra base, so the lack of your opponent is being revealed. not really part of the play here. Enough Marines, I think, to handle these Mutalisks. Baneling's helping, though. Only 3 or 4 Mutas remaining here. Another Baneling pops out. True is hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Production tab empty for True, and TaeJa is making 7 Marines at a time. That is the benefit. If you're only down to making your tier 1 tech units, Marines are way better than Zerglings are.
They are indeed,
that situation.
yeah.
Oh, all those Banelings
like
exploding on that
slow
tank
death
helplessly.
GG,
There it
TaeJa
is.
takes it. 2-1. Or 2-0, pardon me.
Yeah, it is a 2-0 lead right now. Looking for the sweep is TaeJa.
That would
Fantastic.
be a very strong statement.
It would be able to say, yeah, I know, True, you're a pretty good player. Understood, but I am TaeJa. And even if you knock me down to 20 workers and kill everything that I've got going on, I'm still going to push up and very methodically and slowly dismantle you. And that's exactly what he did. The tanks were just huge. There were enough Marines and enough Thors for anti-air to where the tanks could handle everything on the ground, and the Banelings could not get close to those units to make anything happen. Fantastic play.
I mean, today has been a day of very close series, so there's a chance we'll be able to see True bring it back, but TaeJa's looking real good.
He is, and just I'm sure every TaeJa fan in chat is really, really happy to see that.
Notice that time.
Indeed. Yeah, we got Yawgmoth making the point. Why send small chunks consistently and just should have gone for everything there?
Yeah, I guess he did. I mean,
it was just so hard to do. TaeJa had that high ground. There were very few angles of attack to get in there with Lings and Banelings, and the Mutacat just wasn't high enough. But at the same time, I think you're right. I think he should have just gone. Once it became clear that TaeJa was still doing stuff at home, rather than just letting yourself get slowly bled out like that. But maybe a lesson learned. Game heart.
Yes, I noticed this time.
Good job. Mizumo's very happy that TaeJa won. It's good to see him back in the StarCraft 2 scene.
Looks like True just going to want just like a minute break here, so we can wait out for him.
All right, sounds
Get
good.
everyone on into the lobby in the meantime. But yeah, I mean, so glad that so many of you guys are tuning on in and enjoying these matches. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see TaeJa coming on in here. I mean, he hasn't won a match in Afreeca World yet. He's played in just one actually, if I'm not mistaken. So
who 3-0'd him?
It was a 3-1 by sort of when he was in Korea, but that was just right as TaeJa was coming back.
Gotcha. So he was very, very rusty. Less rusty now, though.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I mean, our current Afreeca World champion, Creator, he's now out of it.
Yeah, it's very true. It's hard to be a repeat champion in Afreeca World. These your opponents are going to be pretty strong, pretty consistently.
Yeah, and I mean, Keen though, he has won. Hold on, give me a second. He's won one of these events beforehand. He's had second once or twice as well. Yeah, he's got 2 seconds and 1 win, so he's going to be wanting to. He's at least got himself another second. Going to want to tie that up with his wins though, but I mean, we got to get through this series first to find out who he'll be playing. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is Liquid TaeJa.
And in the bottom right-hand on Dreamcatcher, it's the Red Zerg player, True.
Yes, indeed. Now, I mean, True, he's got his own unique sort of Ling style, but hasn't gotten what he needs to get done just yet in order to really make the plays. I mean, when we look at that situation, we've seen Terrans in that situation a lot. It's just the way it works when Zergs commit to mutas, when they commit to Ling counterattacks, and sometimes, like True, at once, he knocked out all of TaeJa's bases. He knocked out his 4th, he knocked out his 3rd, and he even took out his natural. And for a Terran, that usually means you gotta push, and a lot of the times that push Terran gets forced into does not work. But TaeJa, he just got on there so quick. He had enough tanks, he had the Thors, which was a big deal, as the mutas couldn't chip him down. And then, after accomplishing that, a thing to note was, True, he did not spread creep that game. TaeJa, he pretty much just walked up, didn't have to worry about creep, and was on the 4th base already. So if True had managed to spread creep a little bit more that game, TaeJa would have had to be more careful because Banelings could have gotten on top of his army. He would have had to push in slower, and that would have bought True more time. So what I think happened that game was that True did not have enough creep spread.
definitely makes a lot of sense. That creep spread so important. That said, TaeJa was killing tumors quite consistently.
He was, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's very tough to do, but I mean, for now though, this game, I mean, probably not going to see something of that length, as Dreamcatcher's a bit smaller of a map. It's pretty Terran-friendly with all the choke points and everything on it.
Indeed it is. Yeah, tanks have really great positions in which to set up here. But SCV coming in for the scout. Zergling say no scout for you, but just the fact that there are links here already tells TaeJa everything that he wants to know.
TaeJa really wants to get on in here, and if he sees this Roach Worm, because True's committing hard to this attack, the SCV, it backs out though. So he doesn't know that True's going to be following us up with Roach aggression.
That is a very, very early Roach War in here. I think True figures the longer this series goes on, the longer these games go on, the harder it's going to be for me. So perhaps going for some Ravager play when TaeJa's not quite ready for it could be enough of a deal.
Looks like we had a few star balloons come on in from SJE6405. Thank you very much for the support there. We really do appreciate it. But I mean, I also see in chat we're seeing Mizumo saying, I want TaeJa versus Rogue now. You are greedy for wanting a match that good, by the way. But I make no promises, but now that BlizzCon is over, and that we're just sort of coasting on into this time in which everyone's just practicing, finding out the new patch, players are pretty willing to play in matches, so no promises, but the next few Afreeca Worlds I think should be pretty good. Well, they're all pretty good, but these ones should be very, very good.
So basically, Mizumo, that's not a no.
It's not a no. It's not like True has something against us, or not like Rogue has something against us. This Reaper for TaeJa, actually, oh my god, TaeJa, what a genius.
Wait, what?
This Reaper blocking the roaches by hiding in the line of sight blocker. True's got a Corrosive Bile to get that down. TaeJa, oh my god, he backs out. Oh, he almost got another block off.
What a play.
Fantastic. That delayed it so much for TaeJa. Oh my god. TaeJa, like, he's back, guys. He knows what he's doing. Just with a play like that. I know we were going on a bit of a tangent there, but True is coming in with a strong Roach Ravager attack. But, I mean, TaeJa, he bought himself so much time. He's got out a few mines. We are on the balanced test mod, so it's not like he could make Cyclones to defend this. And this is a very important thing I was talking about. But instead he's made 2 Widow Mines. The first mine's going to connect there. The second one going to connect there. The Banshee going to pick this off. True is getting nothing done with this attack, and he's going to be in a world of trouble right now.
The Widow Mine shots plus the Banshee, just a genius, brilliant hold there.
Yeah, using that high ground. He's now got his stim on the way. TaeJa has his Banshee out. True, he didn't fully commit to that because he's got his third base on the way. He's droned up a fair bit, but still investing into a small number of Roaches and Ravagers. And that play, with, like, we saw 4 SCVs go down. That's really acceptable for TaeJa, but True, I mean, he didn't get what he wanted there, and that was just such a sick block by TaeJa.
It was fantastically held. I mean, that's, if you're a Terran player and you were struggling with that kind of a thing, just watch what TaeJa did there, because that was incredible stuff there. Yawgmoth says Roach Ravager never works. I don't know about that. We've cast some games recently where that's worked at the pro level. But definitely, if it is scouted and you can delay it a little bit, it's definitely not that hard to hold.
Yeah, that was a bit of a Hail Mary Roach Ravager. It feels like True, after losing the first 2 games, sort of to TaeJa playing pretty darn straight up. Then maybe you want to try something like that, but ultimately not getting it done there. And so TaeJa looking good.
Yep, TaeJa is down in worker supply a little bit here, about 8 or so. Meanwhile, 2-port Banshee, well, not 2-port, but 2 Banshees coming on in, but 3 Queens, pretty scary stuff.
I feel as if TaeJa went for the drones there. He probably would have been better off from the start, but just going to get on out of there with the Banshees.
Yep, drones kind of dancing around in the main base, worried about further Banshee play, but they're just heading on home. No big deal.
True being preemptive. Okay. Now TaeJa, though, he's just got up this third base. He's happily macroing up third CC, everything else on the way. 1-1 is on the way for True, but pretty much just on par with TaeJa's timing. TaeJa's is going to be a little bit quicker, and he's already got that stim pack done. So eventually that TaeJa war machine that spams bios so well is going to be just getting ready to set True as his target.
True is not one to deviate from his +1/+1 for his Zerglings. He's going to make sure they are fully and well upgraded at all times. Zerglings trying to get up here, and yeah, but one Hellion, some Widow Mines, Tank, Marine, good just group of units here for TaeJa to shut that away, and third base lands without incident for the Terran player.
Yeah, TaeJa, I mean, he's just getting set up at his third base, getting up a tank. He does have to be very careful because Lings can get some pretty darn good run-bys on Dreamcatcher because just the way the third base is exposed, and the bases have a fair bit of distance between them. So True may be able to capitalize on that, but for now, I mean, he is just trying to get up his fourth base back at home, getting up his Lings, getting up his +2 Carapace started already, which is very important, and then getting his Spire on the way. So he will be playing this Lingbane Muta style.
Which I'm honestly a fan of. Although at my level of StarCraft, which is Diamond 3, usually people aren't expecting Bling Muta these days for Terran. And so if you can catch him by surprise with some Mutalists, you can do some good damage. But yeah, once a couple Thors come out, the Marines are in good placement with good upgrades. Bad stuff can happen here. But again, if you can catch people by surprise, good situation,
Yeah.
but TaeJa's a little bit too good for that.
Yeah, Mutas have fallen on the back burner a little bit as far as straight-up play goes, and this is what this balance patch was trying to bring back a bit. Now, I mean, here we see TaeJa coming on in. Queen's going to try and force this back. And I was actually just thinking about this. I know I knocked True a little bit for his creep spread in that last game. Keep in mind, guys, creep has been nerfed a bit. I believe it was the spreading rate was nerfed a tiny bit, or was it the receding rate was increased? It was one of those two.
Say creep. Time in between creep growth increased from 0.3 to 2.45. So, yep, creep spreads a little bit more slowly.
Okay, so that's a small thing to note, which is going to help out Terrans with their pushing and dropping all over the map. Now, TaeJa just playing around with these drops. Actually loses a full Medivac there. A pretty big loss there. But 10 Mutalisk now on the way here for True.
Check this action out. Is that Digging Claws?
It is. It's the first time we've seen it.
Hooray! We're like 2 hours into this thing and somebody used Digging Claws.
They did. TaeJa does have the double factory, though. It's going to help out because he has the one factory with the tech lab so he can make Thors. And that's actually a situation which it helps Terran out a fair, in which we do see Terrans able to get Drilling Claws because they do have that extra factory in order to make Thors to deal with Lingbane Muta. And so it just pairs nicely together. So TaeJa will have that. And True, suddenly he's got to worry about carrying Overseers with his army. Zergs haven't had to do this for a long time.
Definitely not. All right, Digging Claws not quite done yet. Pushing up the Creep Tumors. Digging Claws almost done here.
Oh, whoa, those Widow Mines, though. True's got to be very careful. Oh, that other mine getting a good connection. But look at this. True actually just catching TaeJa unsieged. TaeJa siege is up at the last minute. Baneling's rolling forward right now, so True's really committing. Doesn't get some fantastic connections there, and the Widow Mines do force True back. Army supply was even before that, but now TaeJa with a pretty significant lead. And, he's also getting up his fourth base, and wait a second, is there now an identifier for the Drilling Claws?
Sure looks like it. Little red laser. That's just
that?
an identifier.
That is, I mean, they did it to the Cyclone. They attached lasers on it. They're like, what are we gonna do to indicate these units are upgraded? Lasers, apparently.
Lasers,
apparently, man.
That's the answer.
But Muta's now coming on in here for True. Looks like they maybe ran into a Widow Mine or a Thor. Still trying to get something done, but not finding anything. TaeJa's pushing across the map, and I'm actually excited to see just how strong these Drilling Claws are. These mines, once they've fired now, are also burrowed as well. Queen's going to try and buy time. True's got a fair few Banelings right now, but isn't going to be enough. 15 versus this much bio, and TaeJa's just going to kite back with this. Marauder's going to absorb the Banelings there. True's rolling on in. Gets some decent connections, but whether it's enough is a different question. Now these Banelings rolling forward unsupported. A lot more Banelings and Lings are popping out for True, so he's going to try and pursue this. And he's trying to get on top of this army, forcing TaeJa back, trying to get the wraparound. Banelings chasing after this. This is a lot of Banelings for True right now, but he is forced back, but he did manage to hold on. But look at this, True's running over these Banelings. He has to bring in an Overseer. That's a nice thing for TaeJa. True having to worry about that. And so mines have a lot more longevity. And I mean, guys talking about this, Widow Mine speed was buffed for them to be built. So Terrans can really just churn these guys out. And now that there's Drilling Claws once again, well, now that Drilling Claws makes them invisible, Widow Mines, we could see a lot of them from Terran.
Yeah, I'd love to see it too. Not as a Zerg player necessarily, but just in terms of making games more exciting. Zergling's running into TaeJa's 4th base, though, at the 12 o'clock position.
Oh, wow,
here.
look at that.
Trying to shut that
trying to
thing
catch
down
this. The
before
banelings are going to
finishes.
roll on in and try and get the, kill
Planetary
here.
Fortress is not going to finish. Not if these banelings hit.
Oh, yeah,
although
those
they're
banelings
not...
say, oh, there it goes. Finally
Okay.
getting that down. But TaeJa, he's also pushing on in towards the 4th base. But this isn't that big of an army. A few banelings roll forward.
Nice
Good splits
split.
from TaeJa, though, nullifying that. And, I mean, true, he's down on army supply now. He got killed off that 4th base of TaeJa. He's still got a few mutas and lings getting into the natural base, but he's got to hold off this attack. He's trying to get out a few more lings, and it's not a massive army from TaeJa, but it does fall the 4th base of True. He's started his 5th, which will help him out. Now look at this. These lings, they're engaging this Thor. Guys, look how fast it's dying.
Unsupported here. Widowmine going to save Thor number 2, though.
Yes, indeed. Now, True, he's just got to get out a few more lings, and he can maybe push back this wave, but he's down on drones. He doesn't have the production, and GG, TaeJa takes it 3-1, or 3-0, pardon me.
0.